morning.
Good morning, Bree and Chris. Here's the latest on containing COVID in the Northern Marianas. Breaking overnight, the CNMI governor's office announcing one presumptive positive case of COVID-19 on Saipan. The NMI task force saying that this presumptive positive case was identified as a result of the community-based testing that launched last week. The POI is a 17-year-old male who presented no symptoms. Further evaluation is being obtained from the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention to make a final case determination. CHCC has already initiated contact tracing. Also last night, receiving word from CHCC Esther Muña, the CEO, saying that the cumulative number of people testing negative from the community-based testing initiative is now 1,476. Again, CHCC Esther Muña, CEO, telling us that the cumulative number for community-based testing initiative is negative 1,476 negative results thus far. Also, more news on the economic front. The CNMI Finance announced approval of the CNMI stimulus check implementation plan. The NMI governor's office writing late last night that this means that the U.S. Treasury will transfer $37.6 million to the CNMI government within the next few days to release stimulus checks to eligible CNMI taxpayers as soon as possible. They say that they're going to release this to all those who are eligible by filing a 2018 or 2019 tax return. Taxpayers are encouraged to visit the Department of Finance website at www.dof.gov.mp to access digital versions of the required tax forms. They also allow questions to be sent through email at info@dof.gov.mp. We also wanted to share the latest numbers from CHCC here in the NMI. The total number of COVID-19 confirmed cases as of May 6 remains at 14, with that one presumptive case. The cumulative number of persons released from quarantine is now 295. The pair of deaths remains at 2, and the cumulative number of recovered cases is 12. And the cumulative number of specimens collected through the community testing initiative is nearing 2,000. That number is now 1,797. And as we reported, the CEO of CHCC, Esther Muñoz, says that 1,476 of those testing results are negative. We also wanted to share that it's worth mentioning that amid increasing calls for transparency from the executive branch and the CNMI governor, the last NMI press conference here on Saipan was on March 30th. Nearly 37 days ago, seems to be a month-long mute of the media. The U.S. Press Freedom Tracker gives the NMI red marks for all of its categories. Those categories are: do they have regular press briefings? They list the NMI as having none. General press attendance? No. Live questions and follow-up? No. Reports of restricted access? Yes. Both Adriana Cotero and I have been reaching out to the CNMI Press Secretary, Kevin Bautista, working on a one-on-one interview with the governor and asking about any press conferences coming up soon. This U.S. Press Freedom Tracker is based on a coalition that shares knowledge about threats to press freedom across the country. They're also part of the Freedom of the Press Foundation advocacy organization that manages day-to-day operations of the site. So, Chris, as you know, it's been nearly 37 days since we've had a press conference here in the NMI.
Over a month. You know what, Kevin Bautista, you need to do an interview. You're the governor of the CNMI. The people of the CNMI deserve to hear from their governor, not through Facebook, not through Instagram, not through the website, but to talk to the people, because you're talking to the people when you talk to the media.
Right. That's correct, Brian. You know, I'm looking at this spreadsheet of every single U.S. state and territory. And the Northern Mariana Islands is the only one of every single state and territory to have red marks across the board. There's no regular press briefing, there's no general press attendance, there's no live questions and follow-ups, and there are reports, and I've spoken to journalists from every industry here, from every organization here, who say that they've also had some instances of restricted access. So the NMI is the only one in the entire nation right now to have all these four marks marked as red in this national report.
Have you received any other update from Kevin Bautista, the spokesperson or press secretary over there, on whether or not he's going to grant you an interview?
Yeah, early this morning, right before I called on the radio, I did receive a message saying that there will be an interview set up with the CNMI governor, Kevin Kevin Bautista telling us that the availability is tough because of all the planning meetings, but they're going to make some time. But of course, we were also told this a week or two ago, Bria. I remember mentioning to you that there were some plans for an interview, but we never got that follow-up from the office. And so we're just waiting to hear. And as Guam just had its conversation about meeting the media, there's lots of media here as well talking about not having the chance to.
You guys haven't even got the chance to get muted. Let me tell you, it's not that you don't want it. You don't want this life, Tomas.
No, I think it's far worse over there that they're not having that access
and I'm making light of it, but it's
the governor there.
Very grave and serious issue.
Mm-hmm. What about the lieutenant governor? The lieutenant governor available over there to talk?
I haven't asked that question yet. I definitely will if his availability is better. But.
And are they taking advantage of the restricted movements that CNMI communities under? For example, if this was a non-COVID time, I know Tomas Manglona would be out there sticking his phone camera in the governor's face and rolling hot. But you're not doing that because you're staying home and adhering to these different social isolation and distancing orders, correct?
Yes, and so it's definitely hard because we have to social distance, and that it's difficult if everything is being monitored through email and Zoom, and that's fine. But again, initially when we followed up after the last press conference on March 30th, we were told that they're not having any right now because they're figuring out the technical difficulties. And then the reason became because we're too busy. Well, every single other U.S. state and territory in the nation has. According to this chart, most of them do have daily press briefings. So I just don't know what the case is here. Yeah.
I just got a comment here from Andrew on our Facebook Live feed. Hoffa, I thought we were giving the CNMI kudos for doing a good job. I admit I patted the CNMI on the back when they came out with the CARES Act spending plan because they beat us by a few days, so...
Yeah,
but I take it back, okay? I take it back.
No, I mean, credit where credit's due, but Chris, you also know that when you control the narrative and you schedule these videos and schedule these PRs, then all we're getting is good news. I've been speaking to some people and want to hear from more of the public next week as, I'm kind of transitioning to covering more of the economic impact. Right. Some people are getting evicted during this time here in Saipan, and we're going to hear about that next week from some folks that I'm reaching out to. So, yeah, when you look at government press releases, more than not, it's going to be the
news
picture sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh, we know about that.
Yeah, and so, again, it's just a stark number that the U.S. Press Freedom Tracker is releasing. And, again, I'm looking at the graph right now, and out of all the states and territories in the United States, the CNMI is the only one with all four marked as red.
But you know what, Tomas, that makes the work that you're doing that much more valuable and that much more powerful. So thank you for that.
No problem. And I just got here about a month ago from college, but I was also speaking with a bunch of journalists last night, just over Facebook. And a lot of them were saying that even before COVID-19, that chart still applies. And so I trust the journalists who've been here for, over a decade or so, doing this day in and day out especially. I've also reported here for several years since high school, but a lot of these journalists saying that even before COVID-19, the administration was really difficult to get a hold of. And so we kind of are getting fatigued from relying on press releases and Facebook videos that are, highly produced and elaborate.
I mean, they got music under that. Mm-hmm. There's like that 80s Top Gun music.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's something that even when putting news reports together about, COVID-19, I mean, there's this nice background music in the back, and it's kind of distracting. But,
and I think, we've been giving the kudos to the CNMI government for doing this mass community testing, but at the same time, the results. We'd like to know the results, and I don't even know. We just found out yesterday, right? There was the one presumptive positive. So, I don't even do you get the results every single day as they do the testing?
Right now, the only one that has really given a lot of access to the media, as we've seen, she's offered interviews on the Facebook Live show practically every week, is this hospital CEO, Esther Muña. and she's been very open and publicly available to all of the media, is what I'm hearing, even on my personal experience, giving updates on a daily basis. And again, as I mentioned before, the press secretary is communicating with me on a daily basis, but that's very different from having a live forum or a press conference or a one-on-one interview.
Yeah. So you can get those details.
There's also the fear of being blacklisted. I think we know how that feels to be blacklisted by government as the media.
Yeah. All right, Tomas. Maybe I'll call Mr. Bautista myself and just help you out there and figure out what is going on. Because you're right, the people deserve.
I need to say this more than once, but really, it's not about it's about asking the questions that people are asking, and really, especially with hearing about the evictions taking place right now, I think that those in the community really want some answers about some, from the government.
Yeah, completely understand. Thanks, Tomas.
Now Bree's gonna make an angry phone call. I want to hear that.
No.
Not angry. When you use your stern voice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, a lot of people are using their stern voice now. We'll see. We hope that they stay true to their word about setting up that interview. We were told about an interview being set up a week or two ago, and we just hope that this time it's they're not teasing the media in this way.
Right. Yeah. Okay, Tomas. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
942, Guam's favorite. Let's keep it on the phones, and I want to go to a caller who's asked that we not use her name.
Okay.
And she is actually